Microsoft just made a massive miscalculation. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto. And today we're going to be talking about how Microsoft voted not to allocate 1% of their liquid assets into Bitcoin as a strategic treasury reserve asset. Right? Long story short, there was a vote for Microsoft to see whether or not they would put 1% of their money, which at the time it was going to be about $780 million into Bitcoin, which would have equated to about 8,000 Bitcoins at this price. And they voted a resounding no. All right. Not even 1% of the shareholder base had voted to hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Right. And the reason why this happened, if we're all going to be honest, is that these guys, they're a little bit older. They don't exactly understand technology, right? They don't really understand where the future of technology is going, which is ironic because the same thing was done to them at some point. In the beginning, no one saw Microsoft as being a big deal. It was just kind of like this joke company. You know, it's kind of funny. Maybe they'll make one or two computers for the government or something like that. Not really a big deal. It turns out they were going to make chips and software products that all major companies and all computers were going to use. And if you were alive back then, right? If I was alive and an investor back then, it would have been pretty obvious, right, to see. And it's not, oh no, it's hindsight, bro. No, it's actually just obvious to anyone who understands technology and where things end up going, right? How the future works, okay? The same way that it's pretty obvious to anyone who understands how technology works, how the future works, right? That Bitcoin is going to be the future capital asset for all companies, all individuals, all countries. Pretty obvious. But when it's happening, it's not as obvious to everyone, right? Not everyone can see through the matrix. So today I just wanted to go over how this decision will be looked back at and laughed at in a couple of years. You know, and it's the same song and dance for everybody. The people who were on Twitter, just individual people. Hey, I bought Bitcoin at $2 and then I sold it at $10. I knew I was a genius. Yeah, sure, buddy. You're a really smart guy. In the future, we'll look back and we'll say, wow, they could have owned 0.0381% of the Bitcoin network for only $780 million. It was extremely cheap. And they missed that opportunity, right? In the future, it'll be extraordinarily difficult in order for them to get 8,000 Bitcoins. What I think is going to happen with Microsoft is because they're a publicly traded company with a board of directors and they have all these different offerings in terms of votes for shareholders and all this other stuff, it's going to take them a very long time to get to 8,000 Bitcoin. I'm not sure if there's any unilateral steps that they can take to just accumulate Bitcoin quickly, but because they're a publicly traded company, they move very slowly. Right. So what's going to happen over time is Bitcoin's going to continue to expand its monetary base, right? Because they're not making any more, but more people are continually demanding access to coins. Currently, Microsoft's market cap is about 4 trillion, right? It's about twice the size of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's around 2 trillion. There's going to come a point in the near future, okay, where Bitcoin's market cap is going to be the equivalent of Microsoft's, right? That's going to put them on high alert. Okay, so now we're getting completely smoked by Bitcoin. It's already beating us every single year, right? Because Microsoft's not even that good of a performing asset at this point. All the growth in Microsoft is done. All right, they're not really making any more great, crazy products. All right, there's only so many more companies that you can sell Microsoft Teams to. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Right? Yes, the software is a big part of their business, but like the growth of Microsoft is not going to be super exponential. There is no AI product coming from Microsoft that's going to, 30, 40x them from a $4 trillion company to a, 100 trillion. You know what I mean? It's just really not going to happen. They're just going to continue to expand at the rate of monetary inflation. They're going to slightly outpace inflation, which is what they've been doing. But Bitcoin's going to outpace Microsoft by like a lot. Right? So it's going to exceed them in market cap. Then after that, Microsoft's going to be half of the market cap of Bitcoin. Then there's going to come a point where Microsoft's entire market cap is going to be less than 0.038% of the entire Bitcoin network, right? So now it will take their entire company's net worth just to be worth 0.0381%, right? It's going to take the entire company to be worth that much of the Bitcoin network when they could have bought that much of the Bitcoin network for just 1% of their assets. You understand what I'm saying? This is the future that we are walking into every single day. Okay. It doesn't happen overnight. All right. Bitcoin didn't get to 2 trillion overnight. Okay. It didn't get to bigger than the entire market capitalization of all the silver on earth overnight. But you have to think, silver has been around for a really long time. Everyone knows what silver is. It's an element on the periodic table, and it has some value because some of its industrial uses and just because it's a shiny silver rock, right? People like shiny things. All right. These two things combined give it a lot of value, a lot of market capitalization. Bitcoin's bigger than silver, and it's been around for a very long time. Microsoft hasn't been around that long, right? But they've already eclipsed silver. They've eclipsed pretty much everything. I'm pretty sure they're like the 3rd largest company in the world, right? But pretty soon, Bitcoin's going to surpass even them, all right? It takes companies an extremely long time just to get to 1 trillion. I'm going to put a graphic on screen showing the amount of times it takes. Bitcoin got to 1 trillion faster than all these guys, right? It's gotten to 2 trillion faster than all these guys. It's going to get to 4 trillion. It's going to get to bigger than Microsoft, way faster than anything else in history. And that expansion is going to continue to be exponential. There's only 3% of the world using Bitcoin, but it's going to continue to absorb all these other smaller companies, right? There's so many people globally who use Microsoft. Imagine that amount of people utilizing the Bitcoin network. It would completely destroy and eclipse this price, right? Because Microsoft can continue to make shares. Right? They can continue to issue equity. You can't make any more Bitcoin. So therefore, the value of Microsoft has to fit inside of Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin being the global capital asset means that it's going to capture and extract value from companies like Microsoft who have no Bitcoin. The only companies that are going to be able to outpace Bitcoin are companies that put Bitcoin onto the balance sheet, right? Like MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is going to be significantly bigger than Microsoft. You can bookmark that, okay? Please come back. MicroStrategy is not even a $100 billion company. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to be multiples bigger than this zero coin holding software company. Microsoft cannot be bigger than Bitcoin's market capitalization because the problem that Microsoft solves is too small. All they're doing is solving a problem of software, some of hardware, right? But that's too small of a problem. Bitcoin is solving the problem of how do I not lose money? Okay? That is a huge global problem that everyone can relate to, rich or poor. How do I save the money that I've earned? Okay? That's a $450 trillion problem, expanding at $2 trillion per year. Okay? That's going to be the market capitalization of Bitcoin. It's going to be a capital preservation asset. All right. So we're going to look back at this moment and we're going to realize, dang, they actually missed out on billions of dollars of trillions of dollars of shareholder value. That's absolutely insane. And all they had to do was use 1% of their cash on hand. What else are you going to do with the cash? Nothing. You're just going to hold cash, right? Let me tell you something. Holding cash is for poor people. That's what poor people do. You hold cash, you put it under your mattress, and you get poorer every single day. Because if you're aware of what inflation is, then that means that you're aware that dollars lose value. So when you're saving all your dollars under your mattress, essentially like what Microsoft is doing, you're just going to get poorer every day. Okay? You're leaking value. No, they're not, bro. They're putting the money into good things like treasuries. Oh my. Oh my. That's hilarious. Yeah, so you're going to put all your money into treasuries, which suck, by the way. They're toxic sludge. They go up slower than the rate of inflation. They go up more than zero. So I guess that's a good start, little bro. You're right. That is better than zero. Yes, you're correct. But the only thing better than zero is, 4%. The only thing better than 4% is like 60%, 70%, 80%, 100%, 120%, 1,000%, 2,000%, 20,000%. That's what happens when you hold Bitcoin. It's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? So again, not everyone else can see it. There's going to be people who can't exactly tell what's going on, but what they're going to see is that their companies that they're holding that don't have any Bitcoin seem to be losing to all the companies that are holding the Bitcoin. So it is what it is. Eventually, Microsoft will get around to buying Bitcoin, but they're just going to buy it at the price that they deserve. And it'll be a great, great blunder, right? So in order to get 8,000 Bitcoins for Microsoft, when they do try to buy, it's probably going to cost them 780 billion. So it's going to cost them about 100 times more, when they could have just bought it for cheap. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what they wanted to do. So we'll just have to monitor the situation and we'll see how that works out for them. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone who might find it interesting, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Stack sats or die trying.